pre-Christian times, the town of Kildare was known as Drumcree, or in Gaelic, Drimcreig, meaning oak-covered ridge. And it was on an oak-covered ridge that St. Bridget founded her church. The town was then called Kildare, from the Gaelic Kildara, meaning Church of the Oak.
My name is Cogitosus, a scribe and scholar of Latin. In the 7th century, I lived at the monastery of St. Bridget, and was so inspired by her sanctity that I wrote an account of her life.
The people of Leinster besought Bridget to stay among them, and when the most glorious Virgin came to our country, she was received with great honour and joy by the whole province, and a cell was assigned to her, in which this saint of God afterwards led a wonderful life. There she built a monastery for many nuns, and there grew up a large city, which is today the metropolis of Leinster. Bridget was the daughter of a local chieftain, Duvtuck, of the Edunlinga dynasty, who ruled most of the area now known as County Kildare. Although many things have changed over the centuries, the legacy of St. Bridget is prevalent, especially here in Kildare. Just 200 paces from here is St. Bridget's Cathedral, which is located on the site of Bridget's original wooden church. The 13th century Gothic-style cathedral was totally destroyed in the rebellion of 1641 and was left in ruins until 1896, when it was restored to its former glory.
Let the spirit of Bridget be guardian of all who walk within these hallowed walls, and come with me back in time to the 5th century, when Bridget founded her church, a monastery, and a convent.
These wooden buildings were often destroyed by the ravages of war and fire, and were rebuilt time and time again. On the north side of the ridge, St. Bridget's nuns kept a ritual fire burning day and night in a fire temple. It was demolished along with the convent during the Reformation in the 16th century. This is where the fire temple once burned and could be seen for miles. The round tower is 107 feet high and is the second highest in Ireland. It has a basement and 6 floors and was used as a lookout and place to store valuables. From the annals of time and the works of great scholars and scribes like my fellow monks Bunbon the Wise and Sedulius, we know that Kildare was an important centre of art, culture and learning from St. Bridget's time. That tradition continued with the Presentation Sisters and the De La Salle brothers, who established schools in the town in the 19th century. The legacy of St. Bridget can be seen throughout Ireland, with churches and schools dedicated to her. This is especially true here in Kildare. St. Bridget's Church, a place of daily worship for Catholics. Daniel O'Connell, the Liberator, attended the dedication of the church in 1833. Tub of Reed, a holy well where many pilgrims come each year to pray and express their devotion to St. Bridget. Between Kildare town and the River Liffey lies the Curragh. Over the centuries, it has been the site of many battles and military assemblies. Once known as St. Bridget's Pastures, the remains of this holy cross marks one of the boundaries.
Touch with open hand the power within this rock, those who seek a cure for human ailment.
The Curragh is the largest area of semi-natural grassland in Europe. In ancient times, it was called Curragh Liffey, or Curragh of the Liffey. Curragh means racecourse, and in the early morning, the gallops resound to the hooves of thoroughbreds in training. Many race meetings are held here every year, including the famous Budweiser Irish Derby.
is this King Budweiser?
The military presence at the Curragh continues today, and the Defence Forces have their training centre here at the Curragh camp. At Donnelly's Hollow, you can retrace the steps of the mighty boxer Dan Donnelly, who, in 1815, defeated the English champion and carried him on his shoulders through a crowd of 20,000 supporters. Irish horses are renowned worldwide, and at Tully, on the outskirts of Kildare town, you will find the National Stud, where some of the world's greatest racehorses were bred.
The better the breed, the greater the steed, the faster the speed.
Also at Tully is the Black Abbey, founded in 1212 by the Knights Hospitaller of St. John, a religious order of knights who may have used the lands at Tully to breed horses. Beside the National Stud are the Japanese Gardens, which were designed in 1906 by Tase Ide and symbolize the life of man.
Be at peace in this garden of paradise, and follow the path of life through the gate of oblivion to eternity.
Behold the tranquil beauty of St. Ficre's garden, dedicated to the memory of a fellow monk who devoted his life to cultivating the land and who is now honored as the patron saint of gardeners.
Tread softly on this sacred ground, lest you disturb the spirits of my fellow brethren.
There were 3 abbeys in Kildare in medieval times. The Grey Abbey, which was built outside the town walls, was founded in 1260 by William de Vesey for the Franciscans. It received a royal grant in 1276 and is generally associated with the Earls of Kildare, of whom 8 were buried here in the cemetery. And this headstone marks the final resting place of 7 young Kildaremen who were executed in 1922. In 1292, William de Vesey founded the White Abbey for the Carmelite order. It was suppressed by Henry VIII in 1539 and destroyed a year later. The present Gothic-style Carmelite church was opened in 1889. Kildare Castle was built towards the end of the 13th century, when Kildare was an important and prosperous town. The Irish Parliament met here in 1276 and again in 1310. The town charter of 1515 gave permission to hold a market on Thursdays, a tradition that continues to this day. The market house, where I now sense your presence, was built in the early 18th century when the town was a thriving center of business. Now, in the 21st century, Kildare is still a thriving and vibrant town with many pubs, shops, and restaurants.
So take your time and explore Kildare, for time spent with us will leave you with many memories to cherish and contemplate. Farewell.